Okay, good morning Year 7. Thanks so much for all of your hard work in multimedia during our remote learning program. For those students who have been posting their ideas on the discussion board on Canvas, I really do appreciate you doing that. It is great to see the wonderful creations people have been coming up with. Hopefully, that has helped inspire other students in the class and helped others with putting their ideas together. Our previous lesson had you finishing off your research on your chosen fairy tale or movie for your storybook. Many of you enjoyed watching films and others had chosen to reread books. Remember, the purpose of this was not only to enjoy a film, but to be able to get the main points and the moral of the story. When you watched the film or read your chosen book, you should have made notes to help you summarize the main points of the story. The movie you watched was probably one and a half hours long. We don't have that much time to tell our multimedia story. You only have 3 minutes for yours. So before we begin our lesson today, let's summarize the key areas that you should have worked on or you are going to work on today. In our lesson last week, you practiced creating a storyboard using the Snoopy comics, or you came up with your own little short story. Again, I was so impressed with the samples people posted on Canvas in our discussion page, so thanks again to those who submitted theirs. For your multimedia storybook, you'll need to make sure that you are planning appropriately by making your storyboard. This storyboard will indicate the key scenes you want to show in your story. Now, remember, we don't have time to show the whole story, so you're picking out the best parts, and of course, the parts that help tell the moral of the story. For each of the storyboard scenes, you should have a rough drawing that indicates which characters are going to be on screen. You should indicate what music or sound effects you're also going to add. Between each scene, you should annotate what kind of transition you're going to use in iMovie. If you're adding images or drawings of characters and scenes, consider using the Ken Burns effect. It should be turned on by default when you are using iMovie. Remember to use the iMovie help website that was shared in our first lesson. You may wish to draw your storyboard, or you might have created your storyboard online using Google Slides or any other program. In any case, make sure you have a copy that you can submit later. If you drew yours, you should take a photo of each page to submit later. Script writing. So last week you also had a hand at writing scripts. You practiced this with the Snoopy comics in our previous lessons. Hopefully you notice that when you are writing a script, it is basically the story typed out. That is, you know which characters are talking, if there is a narration, and you know what is happening in the scene as the script usually describes this. When making movies in Hollywood, the script is one of the most important elements because it allows the director to share with everyone involved the message and the story they are trying to convey. Remember to save a copy of your script on your computer. You should read from the script if you are recording audio or narration for your story. You will need to upload this file when you are submitting your assignment, so don't lose it. Creating your story on iMovie. Here's our next step. So hopefully you've got a good idea of how to use iMovie after practicing, iMovie for the last 3 weeks. A couple of helpful hints to get you started if you haven't already. You don't need to screen record your movie and import it into iMovie. The point of this task is to create your own movie storybook. You should be looking for images of characters from your story or scenes and adding them into iMovie as pictures. You will use iMovie to pretty much put these pictures together in kind of like a slideshow. What makes it different though from a slideshow is that you're going to be adding sound effects, maybe some music to set the scene, and you may even have some narration or audio recorded of the characters talking. We aren't trying to make a Hollywood blockbuster here. Your story should be simple, and it just needs to include the basic multimedia elements such as visuals, sound, and text. Sometimes simple works best. Don't be afraid to use filters in iMovie. If you're showing a scary scene, you might like to add a filter to the images you've imported that make them look darker. You may have even noticed in iMovie that you can add effects to make the film look grainy and old. So play around with it and see what kind of theme and moods you can create. So for this project, there are a few things to remember. You are creating a short version of the fairy tale or movie that you want to recreate. However, it can only go for 3 minutes maximum. Like I said before, the movie you've watched may have been 1.5 hours. You'll need to be able to get it down to 3 minutes by explaining the main plot line or storyline. So you need to be able to give the main moral of the story. And this is probably going to be the hardest thing about this project. A few people have asked me about screen recording. I've reminded them that we are not looking to watch the same movie. We can get that movie off Netflix, or maybe I've got it on DVD already. We are watching your version of it. So it's going to be shortened. It's going to have your twist on it. The best advice I have for you is to find pictures of your characters online, just Googling. You might add them to a Google slide, maybe put your own background to it, and then you can export those slides as images or take a screenshot of them to import into iMovie. Some people have also asked if they can use software other than iMovie. That is fine with me. Some people had mentioned they have a movie editing app on their phone and they want to try that. I think this will be all right, but it's important to remember I won't be able to help with any technical aspects if you're going to use other apps. So to summarize, let's get you working. Here's the key points that, again, I've just spoken about and want to just wrap up for you now. So let's get back to work and continue finishing this movie. I'm really excited to get to watch these. So here goes, here's my little summary. Remember, you've got a storyboard for your assignment after you've practiced making them this past couple of lessons, of course. You have a script. The script is for your movie story for iMovie. You've practiced those again with the Snoopy one, or maybe you created your own script. Now you're moving on to creating your actual script. So use photos, images, and scenes from your movie. You might just do a Google search and save them onto your computer, and then import them into iMovie. You don't need to make a bibliography for any of the images that you've downloaded as well, or screenshotted. Your iMovie project shouldn't be more than 3 minutes. So that's really, really important. If you're having trouble getting it down less than 3 minutes or getting it to 3 minutes, you really have to think about what really matters in your story. Now, most importantly, have fun. The reason why I've designed this assignment is to give you all the opportunity to explore movie making software and make something creative and fun. We aren't Hollywood directors yet, so I'm not looking for the next Oscar-winning film. All I ask is that you try your best and you have fun doing it. Get creative. You can produce this iMovie however you want. Some people are doing stop motion. Honestly, just doing the slideshow with all of those other effects is perfectly fine and what I'm looking for. So as always, if you have questions, jump onto the Canvas discussion page or send me an email. But I will always answer the discussion board before I answer any emails. So maybe send them there. Somebody else might be able to answer it for you as well. So I hope you'll enjoy this period. Take care, have fun, and I'll see you soon.